call the June 23rd Board of Directors meeting for the Costa Mesa Sanitary District to order and invite everyone to rise if you can and join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Vice President Uten.
Okay, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Okay, Madam Clerk, a roll call, please.
Director Nicole Wiltshire. Here. Vice Secretary Arlene Schaefer. Secretary Art Perry.
Here.
Vice President Robert Uden.
Here.
President Mike Schaefer.
Here. Director Arlene Schaefer is not with us due to illness, correct? Okay. Late communications, excuse me? And is excused for that. Thank you, Counselor. Late communications,
None, Mr. President.
any ceremonial matters?
No, sir.
Okay, moving to public comments. We have two astute gentlemen joining us this evening. And by luck of the draw, Director Fissler, you're up.
Thank you, President Schaefer, and good evening, directors and staff. I'm Jim Fissler. I'm a director at Mesa Water District. I'm also your special district representative on OC LAFCO since 2011. I visit all 27 independent special districts each year, including yours, and that's why I'm here tonight, just to stay connected, be a resource, and offer support whenever I can. I send out a newsletter called Special Districts Dialogue quarterly. It focuses on LAFCO agenda items pertinent to special districts. It's purposely on one page. It has 4 to 6 bullet points, but each of those bullet points has an embedded hyperlink in case you're interested in the subject. You can do a deep dive because it'll take you to all the information. It goes to every board member of the 27 independent special district and the general managers. The next one is coming out in late July. Again, it's email, but I just printed it out so you could see what I'm talking about, and what you see in blue there are the hyperlinks. So thank you very much. It's a privilege to represent our special districts on OC LAFCO Commission. That's all I have. Although I would like to say to Director Wiltshire, thank you so much for attending our Mesa Water District Board meeting.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Next on the docket from the Independent Special Districts of Orange County, Mr. Paul Mesmer. Paul? First time in our building.
Yes.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, folks. I'm Paul Mesmer. I'm president of the Surfside County Community Service District. In fact, I've got my meeting at 6:30 tonight. But I'm here as President Schaefer mentions, I'm here representing the Independent Special Districts of Orange County. That's a chartered chapter of the CSDA, of which you are certainly a very active member. And if I recall, you're probably won every major award available to you. So congratulations as a Costa Mesa Sanitary. Purpose of my visit is to familiarize yourselves with those you might not be familiar with ISDOC, and mainly solicit your input to what we could do better for you. We currently offer a form of collaboration, networking, education, and advocacy. Our membership includes 26 special districts in Orange County. We have about 40 associate members, and they're ones that provide services such as HR, finance, and that they're tailored to our public agencies. We have representatives from CSDA, of course, Orange County LAFCO. We have CASA, ACWA, and Orange County Council of Governments, which President Schaefer serves and represents ISDOC on. Our meetings, I invite you to attend our meetings. We have our board member, e-board meeting it's a Zoom meeting, dark 30, the first Tuesday of the month. And of course, then we have our quarterly luncheons at the Metropolitan Water District in Fountain Valley, and there's one coming up here later in July. Our meetings that we try to provide a general meeting speaker of interest to our special districts, some Recent participants and topics include, we've had the Orange County Board of Supervisors, Orange County Transportation Authority. We've had the history of Irvine and the future of Disneyland presented, Orange County Intelligence Assessment Center, Registrar of Voters, John Wayne Airport, the Orange County Sheriff, and last we just had in the Orange County Fire Authority. Each member is also offered a spotlight, and I know you folks have been kind enough to do that for one of our districts at our meeting. And our associate members also get a carve out that helps sponsor our luncheons, and they get a time also to share their services. So in closing, I please ask you to contact me if you have any questions, anything we can do better for you, and encourage you and your staff to attend our meetings. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you both for joining us. I'm sure you're going to want to stick around and go over our budget stuff. Thank you, guys. Good to see you both. Thank you. Okay. That is the conclusion of public comments. Consent calendar, any items that need to be pulled by staff or directors? Seeing none, we'll look for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0, carries 4-0 with one absence. Takes us now to public hearings, our first public hearing. And if I mess this up, Counselor, make sure you tell me I'm okay. Public hearing is to consider an ordinance amendment to the, public hearing number 1 is to consider an ordinance amendment to the Operations Code, Chapter 6.04, Development and Miscellaneous Fees and adoption of a fee resolution pertaining to development fee, permit fee, and fixture fee. So I will open the public hearing and start with public comment. No, there is no public comment. Madam Clerk, any protests?
There were no protests, Mr. President.
Then that closes that portion. Board?
Is there anybody online? Just,
No, sir.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second it.
Yes, sir.
Ordinance and second to the resolution. There's also a CEQA,
Determination.
adoption, also there's actually 3 items there.
Basically, items 2, 3, and 4
1, 2, and 3.
need to be adopted.
They need to be separate motion on each one,
Yes.
if I remember. Okay.
Yes.
So my motion's, is that on, I'm on number 1, is that correct?
Number 2.
Number 2. Move for approval of number 2.
Second.
That is the Environmental Quality Act exemption. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A motion to adopt the CEQA determination carries 4-0 with one absence. Item 3.
I'll move for approval of number 3.
I'll second it.
Motion is second to adopt ordinance 2025-140, replacing and amending Chapter 6.0 of the Operation Code. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 4-0 with one absence. And number 4.
I'll recommend, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-1000.
With the new 5-year fixture permit and other developmental related fee schedules.
Yes.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion also carries 4-0 with one absence. That concludes public hearing number 1. Public hearing number 2 is to consider adopting resolution confirming wastewater and solid waste annual charges respectively for fiscal year 2025 through 26 to be collected with the general taxes and direct the district clerk to file with the county auditor.
Mr. President, and Board, This is as you know, you've already conducted your Proposition 218 hearing, so you've set your rates appropriately and in accordance with the law in a different public hearing procedure. This is your annual procedure to simply assess all of the properties in the district with those charges, both wastewater and solid waste. And that's required every year. And this is the opportunity for any person that was unfairly charged or believed they were improperly charged to appear and protest their classification or whatever the charges are against their property.
We had any notifications?
There were no protests received.
You. All right, then board,
I'll move for approval.
Second.
motion a second to adopt the collection of solid waste annual charges. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 4-0 with one absence again. Public hearing number 3. Get my notes here. This is a public hearing to adopt resolution 2025-1003, adopting the biennial budget for fiscal years 2025 through 26 and 2026 through 2027. Is Caitlin presenting this?
He is online. Caitlin, you there? Do you have anything to say?
Good evening, Mr. President and members of board. As we presented this to the board back in April and May, also to the CAC members, nothing has changed since the last presentation. Staff's proposing the board to adopt the biannual budget for fiscal years 2025-26 and 26-27.
Okay. Thank you, Caitlin. Board? Bob?
When we did the asset management plan a number of years ago, I thought that we were going to spend more money each year, or it was proposed that we spend more money each year than the present budget is allocating. And I didn't take time to go back and look at the asset management the consultant's recommendations, which the board approved. But I thought we were going to spend more like 1.7 million a year. And we have pretty consistently since then. Am I way off base or?
No, that's accurate. We've been consistently spending about, between 1.5 to $2 million a year on capital improvement projects. I do believe that asset management plan was, I want to say about 12 years ago.
20 years ago.
12 years ago.
So we
12 years
probably
ago.
should be spending 2 points.
And I think it was assuming that we would increase our capital expenditure, but I think it was also assuming substantial rate increases as well. So
So these 2 capital expenditures will cover our needs.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll move for approval of biennial budget for both 25-26 and 26-27.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence, unanimous. Okay. In terms of public hearing, I apologize, I should have done this at the beginning, but for public hearing number 4, we are pulling that from the agenda. And Scott, you want to give us a brief explanation as to why?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We did receive the check from the property owner for $49,109.56. So because we received payment for past sewer services, there is no need to place this charge on a lien on their property.
Okay, always good news.
That's the state of California.
No, it's not the state. That's
That's this.
village. They're the owner. The village investments are the property owner.
Oh, okay.
Lou, anything else to add? Are we good? Okay. All right, then, that concludes all three of the appropriate public hearings, Counselor. Is that correct? We're good? Okay. Moving to the general manager's report. We have a public hearing, it's one. You guys throw three at me, I get a little wonky here, so I apologize. Scott, number one into the general manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, we're coming to the end of the fiscal year, which is also the end of our 5-year strategic plan for fiscal year 2020-2025. I am pleased to report to you in your staff report is a final report of the strategic plan fiscal year 2020-25 of all the accomplishments that staff has achieved in those 5 years. And I am very proud of staff of all the accomplishments that we have achieved during those 5 years. And as you can notice in that report, vast majority of the goals that the board has set for us to achieve have been achieved. So I want to thank staff for their hard work and diligent efforts for ensuring that the strategic goals are being achieved. It was a very well accomplished task. So with that, also attached to your staff report is our 2025-2030 strategic plan. Was, as you know, this was a collaborative effort between the board of directors, staff, and the Citizens Advisory Committee. All had valuable input into this plan. This plan is the plan for our next 5 years. We have new strategic goals that we will try to achieve for the next 5 years, along with the strategic elements. This plan is for your adoption tonight. And before you do that, I do want to thank Angela Patino for putting this plan together. She did this all by herself, did a fantastic job putting this plan together. Makes it nice, really easy to read and understand, and really lets us know what the path we need to go to achieve all the goals in the strategic plan. So this plan is ready for your adoption. And again, I want to thank the board, staff, and the Citizens Advisory Committee for all their hard work and collaborations on this plan.
I would just, if I could, echo Scott, your comments. Thank you, staff. The process for us was, I think, fairly easy to follow and to get it done. And Scott, thank you to you. I mean, there's a lot of organizations and boards that we all sit on that'll do a strategic plan, and they go out and spend a ton of money having a facilitator come in and do it. You fit the bill of facilitator very well, and you work cheap. So we appreciate you taking the direction. And again, without staff, we couldn't have done it. So you guys, all of you guys, thank you very much. Bob?
No, I want to thank staff because almost everything here now has a particular year. And I think that's
Suggested that.
well, Art and I were kibitzing on it, but I was the one that had the nerve to ask. So thank you. I think that's an important part of the process, because then we can go through and have a timeline and a work plan with a timeline on it.
All kidding aside, thank you for bringing that to the discussion. Okay, other discussion on the item? Then we'll look for a motion.
I'll move approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the strategic plan for the next 2030 till 2030. Holy smokes.
Please.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adopt carries unanimous 4-0 with one absence. Thank you. All right, you're on a roll, Scott. Keep going.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. So the California Special District Association, they're having elections for B on their board of directors, which represents the Southern California section. There are 3 candidates running for that seat. The name of those candidates, along with their candidate statement and qualifications, is attached in your staff report. I do want to mention that Don Bartz is the incumbent, and I do believe is he here today? He did He did request to speak before you, the board, but apparently he couldn't make it. You sure he's not on? Check. Okay, so there are 3 candidates for you to consider. With staff is seeking direction from the board on who do you want the district to vote for, and then once I receive your direction, then tomorrow I'll submit the vote on CMSD's behalf.
Do you know all 3 of these candidates?
I know Don Bartz very well. Yes.
Not the other 2?
No, I don't.
I went through, I've met Director Bartz, but haven't had any extended conversation with him. But from what I've heard from other members on the CSDA board, he's doing a good job in his executive position. I wouldn't see any reason to not support him.
Because I have no idea who the other, even all 3 of them are really. So I would go with the judgment of the manager.
Yeah, I would think Bartz would be the one I would support.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Discussion, anybody? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to vote for Director Don Bartz is unanimous with 1 absence.
Thank you.
Is there a form that we've signed, or how do we
It's
do
done
it?
online, so I've got all the information online, so tomorrow morning I'll submit our vote.
Okay. Next item, wastewater charges for Fairview Developmental Center.
Try to be given.
Lou, you're on.
Good evening, Mr. President of the Board. District staff recently found billing errors affecting 10 properties within the Fairview Development Center. These properties owned by the state of California and Village Investment were either misclassified or had incorrect unit counts. This caused underbilling of wastewater charges from fiscal year 21-22 to 24-25. To fix the issue, staff conducted site visit to correct the classification and unit counts. Based on the findings, the district issued back bills or credits to the property owners for those fiscal years totaling $119,862.20. I would like to provide an update during the meeting as the district has now received payments from both states of California and Village Investment. At the time the staff report was submitted, the district has not received payment from Village Investment. However, on Friday, June 20th, Village Investment delivered their payment, meaning the district has successfully collected the full back bill amount of $119,862.20. Lastly, I want to confirm that all affected records has been corrected, and these properties will be billed accurately going forward, starting with fiscal year 25-26. That concludes my reports.
So they were misclassified as what? Multifamily?
I don't think we were assessed at all because we thought it was.
There's some that we weren't assessing at all. There's some that had the wrong unit, like we're billing them 160 units, but it has 170 units, for example.
And these properties that are all listed, they are all on Fairview Developmental Center. Are they the homes that are there along Harbor Boulevard?
Some of them are.
Some are, but it's off of Harbor Boulevard, but
Is
it's,
that
Yeah, it's off, but.
Merrimack? I know Merrimack, but I'm not familiar with Mark Lane or Christopher or Santa Barbara. That's within their little neighborhood. Okay. But as of now, everything's paid and we're good, right?
yes, we're all good now.
And they're going to be on the new tax rolls, right? We'll have to account for that money, more we could spend.
We're gonna spend the money already?
No, Scott will.
So there's really no action, just an informational
For
item
information,
for
yeah,
us to
right.
receive and file. All right, any questions for staff on this item before we move on?
Are there any like properties that we probably need to investigate? I mean, it's, you know, it's obviously an oversight on our part. I guess
I don't think there's this was, I would consider as an anomaly. There's, yes, we might miss 1 or 2 properties out there, but this many properties at this specific location, I don't think there's anything else out there like this.
No, Now, is this for sewer or waste?
This is just for, this is because it's state, this is because this is state property. It is just for sewer only, and because it's state property, they have, a right to decide, who they want to use for their trash hauler.
And they're not, I
No,
know,
they're
I've
using-
walked
they're using
walked
waste
that
management.
area and they're not using us.
No, they're using waste management.
Waste management, yeah.
And they're happy with waste management?
Excuse me?
Are they happy with waste management, or do we want to,
Yeah, I don't know, as far as I
do
know.
we want to have CNR contact them to, just a thought, you know?
Sure. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, we could do that, look into that.
Yeah, this is just a little special thing.
Yeah.
Basically back behind Harbor, on the other side of
You're
Harbor.
right.
Turn in and it's on the
Yeah.
right. That's where the doctors living 20 or 30 years ago, that's where the doctors lived.
Yeah, they built those homes for the doctors to
Yeah,
live there.
That's when, yeah.
But then they built those other multifamily units and some of the other, last week, or I believe it was last week, the Fairview Developmental Center Master Plan was kind of released, and the city has that. I think it behooves us to stay as close to that as we can. I'm sure, Mark, you've got some info. I haven't had a chance to look at the plan, but I think we need to keep an eye on it.
It's at the planning commission tonight. That's what they're, and there's
Right.
a lot of people going in to complain about what the plan shows.
I mean, which part, taking away part of the golf course?
Yeah. So, I mean, Mike has a good idea. We need to stay close to that, see what develops. But it could be like 5 years away, but the plan, it has to go through the process of being approved by the city and then the state again, so. But there's a lot of concern about it.
Well, they're trying to comply with the housing elements, what they're trying to do.
If the state turns that over to the city, or turns it over to the city, then they will have to go with our sewer and waste, solid waste, right?
Right, yes.
We have to keep that in mind.
All right, so this is just receiving a file, which we will do. And item number 4, Scott.
Yes, Gina Tirano will be giving this report.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. So tonight I'm going to be sharing some metrics for our 30-second commercial that we created for our 3-cart collection system. Before I get started with my presentation, would you like me to play the commercial? I'm not sure if you all have seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, we can play it. There's a link if you scroll up, Nolani, to the summary section right there, 30-second commercial. Oh, actually.
Attention Costa Mesa. Senate Bill 1383 aims to reduce landfill waste, and you play a vital role. Do your part to sort smart with Costa Mesa Sanitary District's 3-cart system. The black cart is for trash like styrofoam, diapers, and pet waste. Blue is for recyclables like clean paper, cardboard, glass, aluminum, and plastic. And green is for organic materials like food scraps and yard trimmings. Visit cmsdca.gov to learn more.
All right. So that was it. Very short and sweet.
Is that your voice?
No, it's not.
Good.
It was a voice actor. So I have a little presentation about the metrics that we got for the commercial. We ran it for 3 months, so starting in April, May, and then it's still playing currently for June. Today I'm just going to go over the metrics for April and May since we have the full month's worth. Yes. All right. So next slide. We advertise using 3 different platforms just to diversify our outreach. And those platforms are Spectrum Reach, Division D, and Meta/Facebook. I'm going to go over each of these in more detail. But before I share the metrics, I just wanted to make sure to include some definitions that are in the report just to clarify those. So since this is a video ad, we looked primarily at impressions and completion rate. An impression is counted each time the commercial is played on a viewer's screen, whether or not it's watched. So we can look at that as the number of opportunities for our commercial to be seen. whereas completion rate is the percentage of viewers who let the commercial play from start to finish. So in other words, they're not selecting the option to skip the ad or change channels during the commercial. And then I've also included views and clicks as well, which are more relevant to people who are engaging with our ad online. So views are just what they sound like. It's a number of unique times the commercial is played, and it doesn't count multiple watches by the same viewer. And then lastly, clicks counts the number of times someone clicks on the link to learn more and to be directed to our website from the ad. So starting with Spectrum Reach, Spectrum is the top cable and internet provider in our service area. So we ran our commercial on their streaming TV service, which is just like cable TV. So you can watch channels like ESPN, HGTV, Disney, things like this. And you watch them live and you see commercial ads just like cable TV. It just happens to be streamed over the internet instead of traditional cable. And the benefit of advertising through streaming is that we can target our customers directly through their zip codes. So as you can see in the map, we targeted the 92626 and 92627 zip codes. With traditional cable, you'd be forced to cast a much wider net and serve your commercial to many people who aren't your customers. So that would be Huntington Beach, Santa Ana, Newport, things like that.
Quick question.
Yes.
So I don't get Spectrum. I don't use Spectrum for TV services,
Okay.
but I do. Our internet connection is Spectrum. So I've seen the commercial probably on Facebook. Is that how I'm seeing it?
It's possible. Yeah, I'm sure you like us on Facebook, so you probably have seen our ad that way. As I understand it, the way it's fed through Spectrum is that people who have Spectrum Internet also have the option, I don't know if it's for an added cost, but they can stream TV as well through the internet.
Complicated for me at this point. But I'll be on Facebook and you click on a link or whatever, and YouTube videos and things like that come up, right? And that's where I've seen it, I think.
We did promote it on Facebook as well, so
Okay.
yeah, that's probably how you're seeing it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm not familiar with industry averages for streaming TV. What's the industry average for completion rate?
So it's kind of dependent on what platform you're using, but from what I could tell, the average for a 30-second ad is between 70 to 75%. So this is quite good. We're at 97, 98% with this ad. And we had about 145 to 147,000 impressions per month. So it seemed to do quite well. I also included the budget, which is $4,500, is what we spent each month on Spectrum.
You have copies of the video,
What do you mean by copies?
what's being shown. Can you show that at the Fairview Park when we have the concerts in the park?
Oh, at the booth, you mean? Like on an iPad or something like that?
Can you do that? I thought that might be a good idea.
If
Only
yes,
30 seconds or so, it could be repeated, rolled as
We
people
could.
come up. Just a-
yeah, as long as we have internet on that iPad, we could do that. So the next slide, we have Division D. So this is a digital advertising platform. We use them to purchase ad space on subscription streaming platforms. So that would be like HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, those types of streaming services. And again, we targeted those same zip codes of our service area. And we got about 90 to 97,000 impressions per month. Our completion rate was again about 97%, still good. And you might notice the lower impressions for Division D is because we actually split up our budget for this service. So if you go to the next slide, in addition to the commercials, we also put a small amount of the budget into web banners. And because these ads occur over the internet, we can actually retarget people who have already seen our commercial. And then as they're browsing the internet, we can feed them these web banners to invite them to learn more on our website. So we're getting our information in front of them multiple times, which really helps to get them to visit our website. And I'll talk a little bit about our website in a couple of slides. But before that, we have Meta or Facebook. So we spent about $1,000 a month on advertising the commercial on Facebook. And you can see that we saw significantly more clicks and views in May. This it's possible that this is because we were simultaneously advertising our compost giveaway event. So that may have drawn more people to our page or more interest in the district. I also wanted to note that we posted the video of the commercial on our other platforms as well. We just didn't put any money behind those, so no paid advertising, but it was there as well. And then lastly, our website. I wanted to share that we've seen a significant increase in website traffic since running the commercial and website banners. I included the 2 months prior to running the ad, which is February and March, just so that you can compare. You can see that the total website views increased. Our homepage views about doubled. Views of the 3-cart system webpage increased by more than 10 times. And the number of active users or website visitors almost tripled. So that's very good news. We saw some huge jumps in our website traffic. So that means people are not only seeing our commercial, but they're actually taking the extra step to go to our website and learn more about the 3-cart system. So overall positive. And that's my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
So those streamings, or the not streaming, but the Hulu and Disney and Netflix. I know we bear with me. When we have the very basic Netflix, so we have to get commercials. But you know, you can pay more and not get or get limited. So we're hitting most of those people that are cheapskates like me, right? And they actually come up as commercials.
They do. And
Maybe
some of the
that's where it's-
platforms do allow you to skip ads. So it just sort of depends on,
Okay.
on which ones you do.
Numbers look really good. I mean, especially that last one, that one. I mean, that's where people are going to get information. And to have that kind of jump, that's pretty impressive. So whatever you guys are doing is working.
Well, I think I'm in one of those commercials. And my neighbors have said they've seen me. I have never seen any of this.
You don't even watch TV, do you?
You're always.
When the Dodgers are playing or the Lakers are playing. That's where you should advertise.
That
The
might be a,
Lakers haven't played in like 2 months though, right?
Well, I don't know. This has been going on longer than 2 months.
Do we have plans for the upcoming months, or are we stopping the program?
So since it's been doing positively, we definitely want to continue. We don't have enough budgeted to continue at this rate, but we're hoping to kind of regroup and see what's been working best and try to do as much as we can there.
Another question, when do we do another sorting with, they dump all the trash out and see how we're doing?
Compositions.
We have
Positions,
we're
sir.
scheduled for this week, actually, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
See if that's getting better, Because I know I'm doing a much better job myself, much better.
Okay, so the other question I had was all of this stuff that we're doing proactive. Does that fit into some of the 1383 requirement? I mean, there's a component there for education, and this would fit. So we're doing what we need to do proactively, I think, because I'm sure there's a ton of districts that aren't doing anything.
Do you know
Yeah.
did you know if Newport's doing that or not? Just curious.
Good report. Any other questions for Gina? Thank you. That was.
you.
So what was the total cost of the programs?
So including the production of the video, and we also had to hire an ad buyer to coordinate buying all the ad space. So in total, it was about 30,000.
How much?
30,000, including the cost of advertising as well.
We won't have to pay the initial thing, but because we already have the production.
Mhm.
So what would that cost be if we didn't have to pay that? What was the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so we essentially for advertising, you set your own budget. So we set the budget of 4,500 just based on what amount we had left in the budget. But we can set it wherever we want.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little out of sequence for just one real quick second, before I call on Mark. Is Caitlin still on the line? Caitlin, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to, if you're gonna be on the entire meeting, so I'm gonna bring something up now for you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't want to miss, we've had some illustrious people here in this district move on to awards at the CSDA level, and it's a well-deserving recognition, and I know on behalf of the board, we appreciate your hard work and congratulate you on Staff Member of the Year for CSDA. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Round of applause. They're all standing for you here, Caitlin, if you could, I don't know if you could see
Probably
that.
see.
Anyway, I needed to go out of sequence just in case you left us, so again, thank you.
I will be here the entire meeting.
Okay, then I'll bring it up again. Thank you. Mark, you're on.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Directors, and thank you for considering my matter before you this evening. As you recall, and to the distress of our treasurer, this has been a very difficult project, a capital project year due to the failure of the sewer at South Coast Plaza. In order to pay for that, I and the general manager and the finance manager, we kind of deferred or delayed a few projects in order to come up with the funding so that we didn't go over our budget or dip into reserves. And I guess a couple things for this evening is I cut one project probably a little close. And then I overspent on a second project because there were a couple of failures that manhole frame and cover failures that weren't planned and they just happen sometimes out there and we had to react to them. So I used that some money to pay that. So I'm consequently over budget on the one line item. So what I'm wanting to do this evening is move money around one final time to dot the i's and cross the t's basically. But the project 535 Irvine Harbor Pump Station electrical improvements needed 60 some odd $1,000. And then I was overspent on the manhole frame and cover project by a little over $9,000 for the year. And that shows up in the financial report that's attached to my engineer's report to you on the next item. But that being said, I took money from 5 projects that are completely done for the year. So I kind of zeroed all of them out. And then I took a little bit of money from the odor scrubber that I know I probably won't outspend. And so I'm using that to basically balance the budget for the year and move the money around and basically finish up the paperwork and get it all back to, I guess, in the black. So what I would like to ask from you tonight is to approve the fiscal year 24-25 capital outlay budget adjustments as outlined in the financial review section of the report. It's on the second page of the report. There's like 7 or 8 line items there that tell you where I pulled money from and moving them to. And by making these changes, we basically will not exceed our budgets. And then I will have balanced at least every line item with that in the CIP for the year. So with that, I'll answer your questions or try to provide additional information if you need it.
The headquarters project, is that the one that's completed out here?
The Landscaping work, project 342 HQ landscaping, that was all that work that was done to install new landscaping.
Not the side.
Not the parking lot side.
Yeah, because that's budgeted for next year. or
Yes,
In some budget.
yes, Director.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mark? Okay.
So your total decreases are $76,000?
Yeah, basically, I'm removing from 5 projects, I'm taking $76,223. And then I'm splitting that between the 2 projects that are a little short this year.
I'll move approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence.
Okay. This item is my report, so it's a receive and file, but I will provide 2 pieces of information to you for, or maybe 3. One, we just bid on Friday, we opened the bids for the Mendoza gravity sewer extension. That was the portion of the overall 349 Mendoza Force Main project. It's my item number 10 on the first page. It's the portion where I extend the gravity sewer in order to provide an overflow as part of that project. And so we opened bids and we had pretty good bids. One we had to basically throw out, or in fact, the contractor contacted us the second that the bid opening was read, basically asking to have to pull out of the bid, which we were happy to let him do so. But I think if I recall, look, I didn't write the number down, doggone it, I didn't bring it in, but it was about little over $124,000 was the apparent low bidder. And so I will be working with the general manager to award that project. I believe legal counsel either has reviewed or is in the process of reviewing the contract for that. And then what we'll do in July is we will bring back an item, well, I guess it's less than 125, so I guess I don't have to have the board ratify the award of the project, but I do appreciate you giving us authority last month to do that. Second item is the project 330 South Coast Plaza urgent sewer replacement. Sewer number 136136. We awarded a liner project for that sewer in the amount of, we're in the process of making an award in the amount of $36,675. There was one other bid on that liner project, and that second bid was for $56,922. So SanCon, actually Vortex Services, which used to be called SanCon, is the low bidder, and we are working to award a contract to that particular vendor. And then as part of that project 136, or sewer number 136138, we're actually going to have to do a dig and replacement. We've got 20 feet of sewer that we have to replace. It's about 10 feet deep in the ground. And so we'll be opening that bid on July 23rd, and I would anticipate that we can award that project shortly after we award open bids and go through, make sure the bidders are responsive. And then the last thing I want to say is project 535 Irvine Harbor Pump Station electrical improvements. We opened bids and we are making an award for that project as well. That project will come before this board next month. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions or discuss any issues that I may not have covered.
Any report on the weddings you want to give?
Yeah, my son is happily married. Thank you for giving me the time off to attend the wedding and all the associated activities. So it was a really fun time. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Which son was it?
Matthew, my oldest son.
He's an engineer also.
Yes, he is.
First time he's been married?
And hopefully the only time.
First and last is over. Thank you, Mark. Okay,
We're just going to receive and file that, right?
Just receive and file. Treasurer's report. Mr. Davis, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members. Item before you is your annual review of your statement of investment policy. Included in the agenda item, there's both a clean version and a red line version for suggested changes. For this year, there's really no substantive changes. We just added a section regarding scope of the policy, as well as reworded the delegation of authority for consideration as well. Just as a reminder, the requirements to place investments does rest with you as the board. The California Government Code does give you the option to delegate that function on a year-by-year basis to district treasurer. And so also before you is a resolution that would adopt the investment policy and also delegate that investment function to treasurer for the 25-26 fiscal year. With that, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Questions for Mark? Anybody?
I'll move for approval of considering adopting resolution 2025-1005, approving the statement of investment policy.
Okay. Discussion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. You make it too easy.
Right.
You always do. All right. Excuse me. Let's move to the attorney's report, since my computer isn't letting me do anything. Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just nothing big to report on, except San Francisco had some really bad news. They're apparently the only city, well, they're a city and county, but apparently the only one on the coast that actually has a combined sewer and stormwater system. And they've received a Prop 218 challenge that they were, getting their fees based on the sewer treatment, and said, that's not fair. I said, you're running stormwater through here too. And the court agreed with them and said, yeah, you better take a look at that and go back and figure out how you have to apportion that out. So that's, I'm sure that was a bad day for San Francisco.
No way to, I mean, other than setting up a whole nother system.
Yeah. When you would build your city 150 years ago on a hill like that, and, those pipes been down there forever. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do, except do some more financial accounting.
Well, they just, like you said, they built it on a hill. They figured it would all just go downhill and they never have to worry about it, right? Wow.
That's all I had.
Thanks, Alan. All right, local meetings. Bob?
Orange County Chan District meeting will be this Wednesday, but one of the fun things on that agenda will be they're establishing a food waste tipping fee for what will be hoped to bring organic material to their anaerobic digesters so they can make reduce the amount of energy that they pay for Southern California Edison. Presently, they produce internally with their digester gas probably about in the 70% of this is important to the communities that they serve and the special districts that they serve, because this will, if they get this project finalized, and they started to try to do that in 2020, this will be part of our 1383 requirements. So we'll get something, we'll get some portion of that credit for some portion of that. The hangup is they're working with the county to try to get the county to fund a processing station so where all these organics can come and be liquefied, I guess. When I was running the sewage treatment plants, we did this, and it worked spectacularly.
Of course it did.
But we only used liquid waste and we put it in one digester and we about blew the lid off. There's many other parts of that, but I think that's the important thing. The other thing with this appointment is we spend about an hour and all of the items are vetted by various committees. So the committee chair presents it and they're they are all unanimously approved, generally without question, because the committees have pretty thoroughly vetted it. Then we go into closed session and we spend another 50 minutes on personnel, contractors, and others that have lawsuits with the district, BKK for one, that you wouldn't think of. We used to take our grit and screenings to BKK, and so the attorneys are trying to get us out of that lawsuit. And then, of course, they're doing their budget this time of the year, and so 50 minutes later, we're generally done with the closed session items.
I've got a question for you, Bob. Back to 1383
Yeah.
percentage. What do you think that percentage may be that is going to come back to us?
I don't know.
We got to keep that.
And
in
I'm
mind.
not sure they've figured that out, but the only thing they know is that that'll be allocated to the cities and districts that they serve.
Because we're trying to
If-
bump up our percentage.
Yeah. No, it'll be,
But when do you think that would take place?
as soon as the county can get their act together, which the county's in horrible financial straits with their landfills, so we started this process in 2020 and we went out to bid for the actual facility that we were gonna build, and then we determined not to build it, but to have the county build it, and so they're negotiating actively with the county. And the county's in horrible financial straits with their landfill, so. Anyway, sorry,
That was my question.
sorry for that long-winded.
No, it's good.
Surfa, Scott?
That's this Thursday coming up.
For ISDOC and CSDA, unless staff has anything, I missed the ISDOC meeting this last month. SDRMA, there is really nothing to report from our last board meeting, other than we officially designated Debbie Yakota as the interim CEO. And we actually have a special board meeting this Thursday. So, other meetings, anybody have any other meetings they want to report on?
I went to the Costa Mesa City Council meeting, and there was a presentation on business improvement area reauthorization and levy assessment.
Always a good one. That's good for the city. Okay, anybody else?
I'll submit mine in writing after I finish them.
Okay. We have no old business or new business this evening, so we'll go to oral communications and director comments. Anyone from staff? Okay. Anybody at the board? Again, Caitlin, congratulations if you're still with us. That's a test.
I just have
Thank you.
a question about Arlene. I haven't really heard much about it. How's she doing?
Recovering, that's pretty much all I can say right now.
I think part of Caitlin's, I want to congratulate her on winning that, but I think part of it was that she would stay through the whole meeting. That was part of why.
Caitlin, Bob's picking on you right now.
I got one other question.
Go ahead.
About, the thing you showed us about the fees that were being charged by the county. For we're gonna be at 2988.
Oh, the solid waste.
Solid waste fee.
Yeah, how come they make this determination compared to the other cities? Why are we so much higher than some of these other cities?
It's always a crapshoot trying to find out why, it's never apples to apples when you're trying to compare solid waste rates from one organization to another. I can't explain why, there's just some agencies, their rates are really low. Maybe they're not charging for the organics recycling program. I just don't know.
I think we had the biggest jump, I think, of 9% compared to all these other ones at 6 and 3 and 4. I'm just curious.
That's something we had to talk to CR&R about. See why that's being impacted.
I mean, it's going to go up again with
Right.
county tipping fees, so,
Curious, that may be.
I also had one other comment I want to make, and it has to do with Placentia Avenue and the little bit of debacle that happened over there. I don't know how many of you, if you're all aware of what happened on Placentia.
Yes.
How in the world? No, I'm not going to ask that question. We've pretty much resolved it ourselves by going to the residents and saying, put your trash cans out close to those bumps in the road, or those bollards. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
yes, but we found out today that someone didn't read the letter. They're still putting them out on the sidewalk, not all the way out in the street. So
So I have an update. They did put them on the curb. CRNR reported that carts were on the curb. David went out maybe an hour after and all of the carts had been moved. So a resident or someone
Moved out to
moved
the,
them to where we had asked them to place them. So somebody did move them. I'm assuming maybe a resident who recognized what we had asked them to do, saw that they were on the curb and moved them. And we did request that CRNR go out and service. So as far as I know, they've all been serviced, but we'll continue to follow up.
two things. Are there any other areas in the city that we need to look at this? I mean,
I think the city reported that was the only residential area where they had installed bollards.
in order to make this easier on the residents, is there anything we can do to tell the city to take those things out?
They're not going to take them out.
yeah.
I have to ask.
Yeah. And I would think there are going to be more, not none. There's going to be more.
More bollards to protect the people.
I agree with you, Art. I think that there's places, Geisler Avenue, there's homes on Geisler, and I can see those things going up all the way up and, they're more, the city wants to spend more money on the bicyclists, and I want to protect bicyclists too, but we have to be able to get rid of their solid waste.
That's a question for the liaison committee.
Exactly.
So maybe.
How often do you guys meet?
We should be coming up on one of those in August, I think.
As I mentioned in my report, I think if anything the good came out of this issue is that the city's now agreed to meet with us on a regular basis now. Bi-monthly, we'll be meeting with city staff to go over our projects. They'll share with their projects and see if there's any kind of collaborations or what we have to do if there's any conflicts we have to resolve, we'll know ahead of time. So hopefully we learn our lessons from this and also from the Mendoza paving incident. So I'm optimistic that we can resolve this any kind of future.
Do you know who you'll be meeting with?
Yeah, a meeting with Raja, the city engineer, and their transportation manager.
You know what I'm afraid of? Here's what's gonna happen, is we've convinced the residents they need to get their cans out closer to those things. The next group we're gonna hear from, is the Costa Mesa Bikeability. They're gonna come back and say, you're blocking our access with the trash can.
They already have. They've already told us that.
Have you heard that from them?
We responded to them, saying, I'm sorry, but the trash has to be picked up.
Okay.
It's one day out of the week. Sorry, something we have to do.
Okay. I like that response.
Is there a bikeability committee?
I used to do their insurance. It's the Costa Mesa, do you know? Have you heard? Costa Mesa.
I've got it somewhere. They've given us a written letter complaining about it, and we respond back to them in writing.
Ralph Tabota.
Send that to you. I can see
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
He's pretty logical.
Yeah. Not with bicycles.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys listening to me. All right, with that, happy Independence Day. We won't have a chance to meet till after next week, so hope everybody has a safe and sane. If you need fireworks, there's a place on Harbor Boulevard where you can get fireworks if you live in Costa Mesa. So,
Oh, I
Or-
should mention, I'll be on vacation from June 26th through July 27th.
So you'll be participating by Zoom?
I don't think I can.
Yeah. Unless it's
Oh.
business.
So we'll miss him the next two meetings. Okay. Could be just the three of us. All right, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
May have jury duty tomorrow, rest of the week, because I have to
I'll
call
call
tonight.
Whoa, whoa.